Welcome to Mindful Movement for Soldiers. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kelly Howard. This is a 60-minute mind-body practice intended to enhance your mental and physical readiness. We'll do this by working on strength, flexibility, mobility, and resilience. There are many mind-body practices out there, but yoga is great because it gives you a solid workout while also providing a calm mind. The way it does this is by relaxing the nervous system through a steady breath, inhaling through the nose into the low belly and exhaling through the nose. So let's begin by practicing that. Coming to mountain pose with the feet underneath the hips, lift and spread the toes. Feet are about 2 fist distance apart. Allow the shoulders to relax back and down, and the eyes to close. Start to check in with where you're at today. The quality of your body, if it is tired or sore or hurting in some way. Or maybe if it feels good, just noticing that. And then noticing what might be going on in your mind. If you have thoughts about something that happened yesterday or worries about something that's coming up in the future. And see if instead, for this practice, you can bring your mind's attention to your breath. So bringing one hand to your chest and another to your low belly. Start to inhale through the nose, into the low belly, with that lower hand rising as the air comes in and falling as the air goes out. And as much as you can throughout the practice today, keep the breath steady, no matter what pose you're in. So we're learning to confront challenge with a calm mind. Release your hands down and let's start to move. So from mountain pose, inhale, reach both arms to the sky for upward salute. Exhale, swan dive down, head to legs, holding on to the back of your calves to pull yourself down. As you inhale, lift halfway up, get space in the spine. Exhaling, fold down again. Pressing the feet down into the ground, reverse swan dive, come up, palms press, and hands come together at heart center. That's half sun salutation A. Let's build on to that. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step back to plank position, and come onto your knees as you release to lower push-up and all the way to the ground. On an inhale, shoulders back and down, tops of the feet press, cobra pose. Low lift with the back, hands aren't doing any work here. And then bring the hips to the heels and curl the toes under for downward facing dog. Inhaling and exhaling. In this first down dog, keeping the knees very bent, especially if the hamstrings are tight, and focusing on lifting the tailbone to the sky. Looking in between the hands, step one foot and then the other to the top of your space, and on an inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold forward once more. Pressing into the feet, inhale, reverse swan dive, press palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Next inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, plant hands, step back plank to lower push-up. On an inhale, upward facing dog this time. Tops of the feet press, palms press down, back of the neck is long. Exhaling, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Breathe. So as we start to get warmer, the tailbone will come more to the sky and the heels will come closer to the ground. But we're not in any rush to get there. So you might pedal out the feet if the legs are tight. You might also focus on your fingers evenly spread in front of you, pressing each knuckle into the ground, especially the thumb and index finger. Looking in between the hands, step 1 foot forward and then the other, halfway lift, exhaling, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll build on now, moving into sun salutation B. Coming into chair pose, sink the hips, reach the arms up to the sky. The hips lower, the arms lift. Good, exhale, fold forward. On an inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant hands, step back, plank to lower push-up. On an inhale, upward facing. Exhaling, downward facing. Looking in between the hands, right foot lunges, left foot flat. As you inhale, rise up, warrior 1. Pinkies come in, arms reaching, shoulders relax. Front knee over front ankle. Perhaps moving your foot to the outer edge of your mat to give space for both hip bones to point forward. Right hip pulling back, left hip pulling forward. Good, release your hands, step back to plank position. Come to lower push-up. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. In between the hands, left foot lunges, right foot turns flat. Come up, warrior 1. Same pose, other side. Once more, maybe toe heeling the foot over so that the left hip can pull back, right hip forward. Arms reach, shoulders relax. Breathe. Release the hands down, plank to lower push-up. Inhaling, lift up. Exhaling, reach back, breathe. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. So as you start to tune in more to these down dogs, maybe also see if you can externally rotate the shoulders away from the ears so we're not having any tension in the head or neck. Looking in between the hands, step or hop your way to the top of the mat and inhaling, reach out. Exhale, fold. Next, inhale, sink the hips for chair pose. And exhale, hands come together at heart center. We're gonna move into a leg sequence now and keep the heart rate up. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Next, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, plank to lower push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. This time, right foot lunges, left foot turns flat, warrior 2. So in this pose, the hips are open and the arms are reaching in opposite directions. The gaze is at the front middle finger. Front heel is bisecting the back foot. The arms reach, the shoulders relax. Check in here to see if you're holding any tension in your jaw. And if you are, maybe bringing your tongue to your upper palate. Good, now flip the front palm up and reach up and back for peaceful warrior. So your left arm is your support here. If you want to make it more challenging, the left arm can wrap behind the back. We're just trying to see how much space we can create between our right hip and our right fingertips. And an inhale, come up, warrior 2. And as you exhale, extended side angle, right elbow to knee, left arm up and over. So for this pose, you can stay here. You may also choose to bring the hand down to the outside of your foot to intensify the stretch. But there's no benefit to going further if you're feeling something here. Next inhale, come back to warrior 2 and straighten the front leg. On an inhale, reach forward, and then exhale, release the right hand down. bring the left arm to the sky. This is triangle pose. Most of us can't bring our hand to the ground without collapsing our chest and moving out of alignment in the pose. So keep the integrity of the pose by balancing your shoulders and your hips and your legs all in the same plane and gazing up at the left thumb. Next inhale, come back to warrior two, and let's flow. Cartwheeling the hands down, plank to lower push-up, inhaling up dog, exhaling down dog. Same thing, other side. Left foot lunges, right foot flat, warrior two. Gaze is at the front middle finger. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. The edge of the back foot is very active, pressing into the mat. And then front palm flips up and reach it up and over for peaceful warrior. This time, tune in to what that front knee is doing. Oftentimes, we straighten the front leg without realizing it, or the front knee collapses in some. Keep it over the front ankle. Next, inhale back to warrior two, and then extended side angle. Elbow to knee, right arm reaches up and over, pinky side down, elongating your triceps. Long line from outer right foot to right fingertips. And maybe choosing a different version of this pose if that feels better for you in your body today. Next, inhale, engage the core to lift yourself up, warrior two. And then straighten the front leg. And as you inhale, reach forward without coming down. And then exhale, release the left arm, reach the right arm to the sky. Triangle pose, left side. So seeing if you can open up your ribs to the ceiling. Gaze is up. Right hand is alive. Feet forming the base of the triangle and hand is the apex. Inhaling and exhaling. Next inhale brings you back to warrior two, and let's flow. Cartwheel the hands down, plank to lower push-up. Inhaling up dog, exhaling down dog. So we'll do that again. Feel free at any point in this class to come onto the knees and bring the hips to the heels for child's pose. Forehead resting on the ground, on your hands or fists if your forehead doesn't reach the ground. If you ever notice the breath becoming choppy, this is the pose to move to until you're ready to rejoin the practice. So coming to downward facing dog, looking in between the hands, lunge the right foot forward, left foot flat. Same series, we're just adding on this time and moving a little faster. Front palm flips up, reach up and over, peaceful warrior. Inhaling up, extended side angle. Left arm reaches up and over. Inhaling up, triangle pose, straighten front leg, reach forward and down. Inhaling up, warrior two. Adding on here with half moon pose. Left hand to left hip, place that right hand in front of you and shift the weight. I'm gonna move my foot back a little so I stay on the mat. Shift the weight from your back foot to your front foot. Flex the left foot and bring the left arm to the sky. Steady gaze and steady breath here. The left toes are pointed towards you. That standing leg is straight and strong. And if it's all right with the neck, you gaze up at your left thumb. Good. With balance and control, come back to warrior two. And then cartwheel the hands down. We'll take the other side. Plank to lower push-up. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, reach back. Breathe. Taking the other side now, left foot lunges, right foot turns flat. On an inhale, warrior two. Exhaling, reach the arm up and over, peaceful warrior. Inhale, come up and take extended side angle. Right arm reaches up and over. Inhale, come up. Straighten front leg, reach forward, and exhale, release hand down for triangle. Inhale up. And bend the front knee, coming into half moon pose. So maybe making your foot move back a little, right hand to right hip, left hand to the ground, and then shifting weight from back foot to front foot. Flex your right toes, make that leg strong. Reach the right arm to the sky. If it's all right with the neck, you gaze up at the hand. This is half moon pose on the other side. So these poses, it doesn't matter if you look like me or if you look like someone else that you might be practicing with. As long as you're feeling something and trying to balance and breathing, you're doing it perfectly. So with control, make your way back to warrior two, and then cartwheel the hands down, plank to lower push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Bend the knees, look in between the hands. Step or hop your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take a detour before moving on with the leg series by bringing in a side stretch. So inhale, reach both arms up and clasp a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Next inhale brings you higher to the ceiling. And as you exhale, side bend to the right. So it's very common here to start looking like this and to collapse the ribs in. We want to keep the ribs open to the ceiling, gaze up. With each inhale, maybe we get longer. With each exhale, maybe deepen the stretch. Next inhale, come up. Release the grip, relax the shoulders. We'll take the other side. So hold on to the right wrist this time. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, side bend left. Gazing under your right arm. Inhaling through the nose, into the low belly. Exhaling through the nose. On an inhale, bring yourself up and release it down, coming to mountain pose. Release the hands, close the eyes for a minute, and just check in with how you're feeling now that we've warmed up a little bit. Notice any changes in the body or the mind or the breath. And see if you can recenter on that steady inhale and exhale through the nose. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step back, plank to lower push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, lunge the right foot forward. Stay up on the back toes. This is crescent lunge. So in warrior one, our back foot was flat. Here we want to stay up on the back toes and keep that back thigh engaged. The quadricep is activated. Core is coming into the spine, shoulders relax down. Good. And then from here we'll twist. A few options. You can bring the left hand to the inside of the front foot, right arm to the sky. Or if you need to feel the twist more intensely, you can start to bring the left shoulder to the outside of your knee. Palms press. gazing at your right elbow. There's no need to go further though, if you're feeling a good stretch here. Good, release the right hand down, step the back foot forward, and come into chair pose, bringing the hips closer to the ground, reaching the arms up. And switch the weight into your left foot, and we're going to work on our balance. So bring the right leg up and over for eagle pose. With the right leg over, we'll bring the right arm under and cross the elbows. From here, there's a few options. You can hold on to your shoulders. The shoulders are tight. You can press the back of the palms together, or maybe it's accessible to you to press the front of the palms together. You can also tuck the toes behind the calf if that's available to you. And if you are in the full expression of the pose, sink the hips, lift the elbows, and extend the arms out. A variation here that you might want to try, if that's just a little too complex, more than what you want today, is tree pose. Hands together at heart center, and your foot to the ankle inside of your calf, or bringing it all the way up into your inner thigh. So we're just working on our balance in whatever pose works for you. So whether you're an eagle or tree, go ahead and return to mountain pose, shake it all out, and we'll keep flowing. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step back plank to lower push-up. You're always welcome to skip these flows. This is just a nice way of keeping the heart rate going and keeping you warm and building strength. Looking in between the hands, left foot lunges, stay up on your back toes. Crescent lunge, left side. So you've been here before. On the right, we stay on our back on our back toes. The gaze is forward, steady breath. Again, shoulders relax. I know I say that a lot. Pinkies come in, shoulders relax. But we're trying to train our brain to notice that when we're efforting by reaching and lunging, we can also be relaxed in places that don't need to work. Good, let's twist here. Bringing the right hand down to the inside of the front foot, left arm to the sky. Again, you might choose to take a different variation if that's something you're interested in. But try not to bring any comparison or judgment into the mind. Our goal is to stay calm and feel something. Good, release the left hand down and step forward with the back foot, coming once more into chair. Hips sink, arms reach. Good, and then bring the weight onto your right foot, coming up on the left toes for eagle. Crossing the legs, left leg over, left arm under, and then find what's right for you. Whatever arm grip or hand grip, and maybe tucking the toes or not. Lifting the arms, extending out, and either staying here for a few breaths, or maybe doing eagle with the leg up, or down on the ground. We all have different bodies. We all slept different ways last night or had different things to eat. So we need to respect and honor where you are today and work hard if you can work hard and back off if you need to back off. Good, from wherever you are, shake it out. And we're gonna do all of that one more time, but add on. So mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Next, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, plank to lower push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Looking in between the hands, right foot lunges, come up to crescent lunge. And then immediately we'll twist. So bringing that left hand down, right arm to the sky. Release the right hand down, step forward, chair pose. Sink the hips, reach up, and transition to eagle. Cross the legs, bring the arm under or do tree. And then from here, we move into warrior three. So if you'd like to go straight from eagle, we'll uncross the legs, reach the arms out to the side. Steady gaze, steady breath will help your balance. If you lose it, you just come back. So trying to get your torso at the same height as your back leg. And the hands can be together at heart center. They can reach in front of you if you want more challenge. It's totally up to you. Good. And then step that back foot down, coming into a low lunge, and then moving into the flow. Upper push-up to lower, then upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, same thing on the other side. Left foot lunges, reach up, crescent lunge, and then twist. Right hand down to the inside, left arm to the sky. Release the left hand down, step forward, chair pose. Weight is in the heels, coming up on the left toes, eagle. Cross the legs, cross the arms, or do tree. And then adding on, move into warrior three. Uncrossing, staying balanced on that right leg, lifting everything out. It's almost like an airplane pose. Back of the neck is long. Keeping space in our spine. Standing leg is straight and strong. Good, bend the front knee. Step back to crescent lunge. Release both hands down. Plank to lower push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Breathe. So this is another good opportunity to come into child's pose. If you found that your breath has become unsteady or you need a sip of water, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. We are going to be moving into more core and back work. When you are ready, if you took child's pose, make your way back to down dog. And on an inhale, come forward to plank pose. From plank, roll to the outside of your right foot for side plank. Left arm to the sky. So different modifications here. You can place the right knee down, taking care to keep both feet, the knee and the hand all in the same line so it stays a balance. A lot of times I see the back foot come out like a kickstand. Keep it all together. And conversely, if you want to work a little harder, you can bring that left leg up and challenge your balance more. All right, close the pose, coming back to plank. We'll take the other side. Outside of left foot, reach right arm to the sky. Once more, make this pose your own. Steady inhale through the nose. Steady exhale through the nose. Gazing up at your right hand. Good. Close the pose here and lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands. Step one foot and then the other behind each hand. Coming into a low squat. So hands pressed together, elbows press into the inner thighs. If you are tight in your lower body, your ankles may be off the ground like this, your feet off the ground. It's totally fine. Get wherever you can into your variation of a low squat. And from here, we'll work once more on balance, coming into crow pose. So place both hands down on the ground or your mat and start to shift your weight from your feet to your hands. Now, if you notice that you've kind of broken the integrity of the pose by coming off your forearms, see if you can help yourself out by really bringing the triceps to the inner knees. And then shifting your weight, maybe one foot comes off the ground, belly button into spine, maybe the other foot. Pressing both hands down, gaze is slightly forward. You are breathing. The breath is the barometer of how hard you work here. Good. And then release down and come onto your knees and bring the hips back to the heels for a little child's pose. So regrounding ourselves after spending some time literally in flight in the pose of a bird. And then before we lose too much heat, let's come forward onto all fours, moving our spine into cat and cow. On an inhale, sink the hips, gazes up. Exhale, round the spine, tuck chin and tailbone. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, round it. So inhaling into cow pose, crown of the head lifts, tailbone lifts. Exhale, tucking it in for cat pose. Tailbone tucks, chin tucks. So matching movement per breath. Just working through your spine. And then find stillness here. And extend the right leg behind you and reach the left arm in front of you. So core pulls in, engages, and when you're ready, lift the back leg off the ground, pressing through the ball of the back foot. Back of the neck is long. That right hand has fingers that are evenly spread, pressing down so we're not collapsing into our shoulder. We're pushing through the ground. The ground is a great prop for us here. Good. Release it down. Let's take the other side. Left leg extends back, right arm reaches forward. Lift it all up. When you're ready, core engaged, gaze is down, back of the neck long, pressing through the ball of the back foot. Breathing. Release it all down. Planting the right hand, this time into the mat. On an inhale, reach the left arm up. Gaze up. Open the chest. And as you exhale, thread the needle, palm faces up, coming onto the outside of your left shoulder. Head rests on the mat. So in this pose, you really work to find what works for you. I like to extend my right leg back. Some like to extend their right arm forward. It's finding the sweet spot that helps you get into your mid-back. Good. Pressing the right hand down on an inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, release it down. And thread the needle the other side. Inhale, reach right arm up. Exhale, palm faces up, come onto your right shoulder. Head down to the mat and honor any differences that you might see on this side. So maybe you find that the right shoulder is tighter than the left, and you need the pose to look a little different on this side than it did on the left. Pressing the left hand down. On an inhale, reach the right arm up and release it down. Step the feet back and let's do a little flow before we move on. Just a little reset. Coming down to low push-up or cobra, low push-up on the knees or not. then inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra. Good, exhale, downward facing dog. Next inhale, come forward to plank and slowly lower all the way to the ground. Moving into our locust series, tops of the feet lie flat. Reach the arms in front of you. And on an inhale, lift everything up. So arms form a Y. You're pressing through the balls of the feet. Back of the neck is long. And there's going to be a natural rise and fall as your air comes in and out. Bring the arms to the side, coming up a little higher into a T. And then bend the elbows even higher. This time, tops of the feet press, reach it up. W. And then release down. Bring the hips back to the heels and curl the toes under for downward facing dog. From down dog, looking in between the hands, lunge the right foot forward. Come down on the back knee. Moving into pigeon pose or deer pose. We'll toe heel the front foot to the left side of your space and then release your knee down. So the foot will naturally come into the groin if you're tighter. But we want to make sure that if we're in pigeon, we're staying off the back thigh. If you notice that it's challenging for you here, if your hips are tighter, go ahead and bring the front shin parallel to the front of the mat and the back shin parallel to the side of the mat, and just stay in deer pose. Otherwise, if you're in pigeon, get space first, get very tall, and as you exhale, come down onto the forearms for a more restorative version of pigeon. As always, it's helpful here for the forehead to rest on something, so maybe making fists for your forehead. This helps to really engage the nervous system. It's very calming. And if you found that your breath was disrupted at any point in the class, use this pose to help get it back. Pigeon or deer pose is a great pose for stretching the hips and releasing a lot of stress and tension that's created with running or other high impact activities, or even just from sitting in a chair all day. On your next inhale, come up onto your hands and curl the back toes under and lift the hips high for downward facing dog. And notice any differences in your body. You might notice some, you might not, between the right and the left side. And then we'll move to the other side, lunging the left foot forward, release the back knee down, and toe heel the foot over to the right side of your space. Knee releases down. Staying centered here, so we're not releasing down onto our left hip unless we are consciously coming into deer pose or 90-90. Otherwise, in pigeon, getting some length first and then coming down onto the forearms to stretch the left hip. If this pose is easy for you, you can work on having the front shin parallel with the front of your mat, keeping the foot flexed. I can't demonstrate that because my hips are not flexible enough, but if that's available for you and you need it to feel something, go for it. So in these more passive poses, for those of us who have an active mind, it can be common for the mind to start to wander. Once more, see if you can anchor it on the steady inhale and exhale through the nose into the low belly. Just thinking if there is any tension in the left hip that you're holding on to, may you please let it go. And then coming up onto your hands, curl the back toes under, lift the hips high for downward facing dog. So either stay in down dog here, or you may choose to take a flow, coming into plank, to lower push up, to upward facing, to downward facing. And then we'll move to the floor. So coming onto your knees, cross your ankles, and roll over the hips to a seated position, or come to seated however you like. We'll extend the right leg out in front of us and bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. So start by centering yourself here, a little micro twist to the right. And then inhale, reach both arms up, flex the front foot, and exhale, forward fold, trying to bring the chest down to the legs rather than the head. So for many of us, we won't be able to touch our toes, so bring the hands to the back of your knee or your calf, and working to bring your chest down. With each inhale, maybe getting a little more space in the spine, getting longer. And each exhale, maybe deepening. And inhale, come up. And bring the foot to the outside of your right leg. So moving into a seated spinal twist. Right foot stays flexed. So some of us might feel a stretch here, pulling the core into the spine, hugging the right knee and twisting and gazing out over the left shoulder. Some people might want to put the left hand behind as a prop to help you get into the twist more. Or maybe bringing the right elbow to the outside of the knee. Once more, using the breath here to help you. Inhaling, getting taller, crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhaling, maybe twist just a tiny bit deeper. Good. Release back to center. And we'll come into butterfly pose. So bend the knees and bring the feet together. And just massage the inside soles of the feet a little bit, the fascia that connects all of the muscles and bones in our body. And then press the elbows into the inner thighs and start to bring the chest down to your feet. So once more, it's not a rounded bringing head down. It's an extension of the spine and bringing the chest down. Noticing as you breathe, maybe the body relaxes a little bit and allows you to stretch a little bit more. Just patiently giving the time and space for the body to feel safe. Good, come up, and we'll take the other side. So left leg extends this time, right foot to the left inner thigh. And micro twist to the left, just helping our torso get centered. Inhale, bring both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Hands come wherever they can come, back of the knee, back of the calf, to give you some leverage to pull the chest down. So all of these poses are endless. There's no place to get to in any of them. If you can touch your toes, the next variation is to hold on to the wrist, which I cannot demonstrate. And if you can do that, there's a variation beyond that. So there's no end point in any of this. The point is just to find something tangible, make sure it's manageable, and hang out with it. Start to come up. And we'll take a seated spinal twist, bringing the right foot to the outside of the left leg. Left toes stay flexed. Hugging the knee into the chest, maybe bringing the right hand behind you, pulling the core into the spine, and either staying here. If you want to feel the twist more, you can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. Palm is alive. So this is an active pose. Even though we're stretching, my toes are pointed to the sky, my hands are alive, I'm pressing down to twist. There's a lot of effort going into this twist. And the last part is working that cervical spine by gazing over the right shoulder. Good. Come back to center. And one more butterfly pose. This one a little different than the last. Rather than having our feet in, we're going to bring them out. And also, rather than bringing our chest down as we've been doing the past several poses, you can be more passive here and allow the head to come down. So arms may come outside the shins or wherever they fall for you. And the head can just release down, rounding the upper body and head and neck. Completely passive. Should feel this in the lumbar spine, your low back, the back of your hips. Good. Inhale, come up. So doing a little more for the front of the body now. We will come to reverse tabletop. So planting the feet, hips width apart, and hands can either be pointed to the back of your space if the shoulders are tighter, or towards your feet if your shoulders are more flexible. So perhaps start with the hands away to see where you're at, and then lift the hips, forming a table with your body. If it's all right with the neck, it can relax in between the shoulder blades. Keep the knees together versus splaying them apart, and really watch out for a sinking table. We want to lift the hips up, keeping everything in the same plane. If this is easy for you, you might go further and extend both legs in front for a reverse plank. Once more, pressing the feet in, lifting the hips up. Breathing. Good, and then releasing down. Cross the ankles, come onto your knees, and we're gonna do a little touch for our knees and toes here. So this is hero's pose. The knees are together. If the knees are very tight, you may stay seated on your heels. Another option is to place your feet a little wider than your knees and support your body weight with your hands, maybe coming down a little bit more. Again, I have a lot of weight in my hands here as the knees start to relax. So if this pose is uncomfortable, that's very normal. We're not trying to do anything that's painful, but if there's discomfort, it might just be from not doing a lot of stretches for the knees. So just give those ligaments time to relax. Coming up, curl the toes under, and a little touch for our toes. So the toes are curled under now. You can walk the knees out a little bit if you didn't feel it before. Again, stretching the fascia that's on the bottom of our feet, the connective tissue, that if it's tight can cause things like your ankles and knees and hips to get out of alignment. And once more, if this pose is uncomfortable, just keep the focus on the breath. And very slowly, walk your hands forward, come into downward facing dog, stretch everything out one more time. And then make your way onto your backs. I do so by crossing my ankles and rolling over, but you can do it any way you like. Bring the feet hips width apart, and bring the palms parallel to each other, elbows beside the ribs. On an inhale, press the feet and elbows down and lift the hips high. Perhaps clasping the hands together underneath you if you need to feel it more, and coming onto the shoulders for bridge pose. And just like we did in tabletop, lifting the hips up, keeping the knees parallel, not splayed, and keeping the breath deep and steady. Good. Slowly release down, hips all the way down. And then bring the feet mats width apart, and one knee at a time, palms down. Do some windshield wipers, releasing any tension that might still be in the low back. Good. Then extend the left leg out in front and hug the right knee into the chest. So initially, just giving it a squeeze here. And then bringing the knee, if it's accessible to you, to the outside of your ribs, like you're trying to bring your right knee into your right armpit. And either staying here or coming into half happy baby pose, holding onto the outside of your right foot and bringing the sole of that foot to the sky. Knee is still into the underarm. Left leg is heavy. Thigh as if it's being weighed down by a sandbag. Release the foot and hug the knee back into the chest. And then reach the right arm out to the side, palm down, and bring the knee over to your left side. Right foot rests on the inside of the left knee. And to go deeper, adjust the shoulder blades underneath you so you can turn and gaze out at the right hand. The left hand can also provide a little leverage, bringing the knee a little closer to the ground if that feels good to your spine. We're just wringing out our spine like a sponge. And doing so with a calm breath. The reason I talk so much about the breath and calming the nervous system is because up to 90% of disease initiates in our brains, initiates from not having a calm nervous system, is due to stress. Hug the right knee back into the chest. And so to the extent that we can learn to deal with the stress in our lives, the healthier we can become. Let's take the other leg this time. Right leg extends out, left knee into chest. Giving a few moments here for the hip flexor to relax. And then bringing your knee to the outside of the ribs, getting a little deeper. When I was at my healthiest, running marathons and maxing PT tests, I was actually at my most unhealthy state because I was so wound up, I couldn't relax. And it's been practices like this that have helped me get through 20 years in the Army and 2 tours in Iraq. If you'd like to go further into half happy baby, take the outside of the left foot. Again, right leg stays heavy. Breathe. If you took the outside of your foot, release it and hug the knee back into the chest. And then bring the knee over to your right side, foot resting on the inside of your right knee. Again, maybe adjusting shoulder blades under you and turning the gaze out at the left hand. If there's any tension you're holding on to here, may you please let it go. In all of these restorative poses, the gaze is soft or the eyes are closed. Left knee hugs back into the chest. And then right knee comes up to meet it. And squeeze everything into a very tight ball, lifting your upper body off the ground, the feet, the legs, your core, your back, your shoulders, your arms, even your face. Everything contracts. Hold the breath in. And then on an exhale, release it all down. Coming into final relaxation pose. You're tucking the shoulder blades under slightly to elevate the chest, palms open at the side. I like to bring my toes together and my ankles wide apart and press the toes and allow them to release. You can provide a nice release for the low back. If it is uncomfortable to lie flat on the ground, you can always bend the knees with your feet planted. Maybe allowing the knees to rest on each other and the feet wide apart. So this pose is the most important pose of the whole class. In this pose, your job is to do nothing. It's to practice being a human being rather than a human doing. This is the time for the calming part of your nervous system to really take over and for your body to assimilate all of the work that you did. If thoughts come into the head, give them a yes, no, or maybe, and just let them pass by. Knowing that you are not your thoughts. It's ideal to stay here for 5 or even 10 minutes if you have that time available to you. And if you do, I would encourage you to stay. But for those who need to move on and finish within the hour, go ahead and stretch the arms overhead, reaching from fingers to toes, creating space once more in the body. And then roll to your right side, pausing there with the knees into the chest and the head resting on the upper arm. And then pressing the left hand down, coming into a seated position with the spine tall and the eyes closed. Thank yourself for spending this time to strengthen your mind and body. Thank you for practicing. hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.